Oh, hey.
I'm like, yeah. Oh, we are. Okay. Woo.
Good morning, everyone.
Good
We got to
morning.
love technical issues, and we're getting a couple minutes late, but oh well, it's all good. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to KickASSery. What the hell is KickASSery? KickASSery is my opportunity to brag on my buddies and my friends and my mentors and the people who have influenced me, and I'm doing that unapologetically. Uh, this dude right here is an awesome friend. He's been
Appreciate.
amazing, and he's got some skills that I wish I could even touch.
Nah, you
So,
do. You do.
Juan, real quick, give us the 30-second elevator pitch. Who are you? What do you do? And
Juan
we'll put it on.
Cortez. I'm a transplant from Chicago 20 years ago. Moved to Maryland, doing cell tower climbing, things of that sort. And here, through my new found talent networking, I met you, Dale, about what,
Mhm.
3 or 4 years ago, give or take.
Ish, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, we were at a BNI meeting, and
Absolutely.
did you sit next to me? Is that how that
Yeah.
worked?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And we lost him. Ruh-roh. All right. Hopefully. Anyway, I'll continue on with the story. So, yeah, we were at a BNI breakfast, and he was invited in, and we just started chatting and kind of hit it off and just went from there. We've been great friends ever since. As a matter of fact, the last time I was in Maryland doing the Mud Dog Run, I actually crashed at his house. Him and his family were very generous to me and allowed me to crash at their place. So yeah, gotta love technical issues. Got to love it. Let's make sure he's not sending me a message over on my phone somewhere. Not yet. Here's the thing with Juan. The thing that I love about this dude is his generosity, his outlook on life, and his ability to connect with people. He's got a pretty eclectic background. He's from a big city, but now he lives in a smaller community there in Maryland. And he has got this ability to connect with people on super quick. And that's what's really cool about it is, all right, hold on a second. Let's see if he can get reconnected here real quick.
Yo.
Okay, are you back?
Yeah. What happened? You just froze.
I don't know.
It was funny because you said, "Did you sit next to me?" You're like, and that's it. You froze. I'm like, okay, my bad.
Okay. All right. Well, let's just keep rolling on. I
Yeah.
was just
So
telling
anyway,
everybody,
I did sit next to you. Yes.
yes, and I was just telling everybody what kind of a pompous, arrogant schmuck. I mean, no,
That.
not so much.
that.
Well, it depends on the Tuesday, I guess.
Exactly. Exactly. Depends on what kind of underwear I'm wearing for the day.
Well, I'm just appreciating that you do wear underwear because I was just telling everybody that I was staying at your house for a while, and that
Uh-huh.
was rather awkward.
It was
I'm not
very.
lying, just saying.
It was.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. You have this ability, dude, to connect with people so quickly and authentically. That right there is a word that I'm not hearing a lot in networking and in communication is authenticity.
Yeah.
Um,
You know what?
there,
You're right. You're right. I don't hear it that often either.
there's so often, when we're looking around the interwebs and we're listening to all of the coaching and everything that we should be doing I should back up. In the live streaming community, that is the top of mind piece is authenticity in the live streaming community. And the coaches, like a good friend of mine, Jennifer Quinn, who talks about this and she coaches high level professionals on this, that's her top thing is being genuine, being right here and being with you. And that's one thing that you and I feel are really good about that is being able to connect with people. So is that something you consciously do that you think about, okay, how do I connect with this person? or is it just a natural talent for you?
It, you know, I've always had that, I want to say, gift about people connecting with me right away. And then within a matter of minutes or 10, 15 minutes, or whatever the case may be, they're telling me their life story. It's happened to me all my life, but it wasn't until I moved out here and met some people, mentors and things of that sort, that fine tuned that ability. Say, hey, you have something here. Why are you not, what's the word I want to use? Going with that,
Capitalizing on it. Yeah.
capitalizing on that. Correct. And it was, and there is a couple of things as to, so nowadays I do use it subconsciously, but I do practice that from time to time, actually almost on a daily basis. Just picks a random person and just try to connect to them and keep those skills up. Because after a while, it does become a skill, especially in the line of work that we're in. I do outside sales, and you get all kinds of walk of life, and you get a lot of construction guys. You know how that can be, right? So, but yeah, I appreciate that you noticed that, and I didn't know that until I grew up. Well, grew up in size, not as what am I going to do when I grow up kind of deal. But yeah, I appreciate that you noticed that.
Oh yeah, yeah, man. Because it's legit, man. And I'm not the only one that sees that. I see Michelle's on here. Michelle has made
Michelle,
comments
two
about it as well.
L's. Michelle,
Yep,
two
with the
L's.
two L's, of course. And so let me ask you this: if someone is wanting to be a better conversationalist, because I equate this to our ability to converse, to build relationships, to have that connection with other people.
Sure.
Is it a self-confidence thing? Is it a knowledge-based thing? Is it a willingness to put yourself in awkward positions? What is it that allows guys like you, and I'm not to your level, but I feel like I can connect with a lot of people
Oh,
as
you
well.
are. You are to that level, brother. You just don't know it yet, man. You just
No,
do not
okay.
know.
Okay, fair enough. And I'm not going to argue with that. But the thing is, though, is I am not as quick as you are.
Oh, okay,
You and
gotcha.
I can be literally. I remember we were having lunch at, was it Green Turtle or something like
Z
that?
Panini with Michelle when we first
No,
met
no,
her.
no, 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 nope, nope, nope. It was just you and I. It was just you and I, and we were sitting at lunch. I want to say it was Green Turtle, but it could have been who knows where. And the waitress walks up. I acknowledged her and I chit chatted with her for a few seconds. But by the time we were finished with lunch, she hung out at our table and was talking to you. And it wasn't a flirting thing. It wasn't, it was that you had connected with her so quickly.
Sorry.
You had connected with her so quickly that she was willing to talk to you. And even though I was good with the chit chat, you were able to like dive in, be like, okay, well, you're working here. Where else are you working? And how's your boyfriend? And this and that. I'm sitting there going, dude, that's kind of being pushy. But you have this ability to just do it off the cuff and not be pushy about it and connect with people.
It's and I appreciate that. And it's a combination of all things, to be honest with you, a little bit of everything, but it's mostly trying to be observant. You do your body language thing, and I'm more of an eye guy, as they say, right? Because I truly am an eye guy, right? When it comes to women, females, I love the eye thing, right? But I always try to observe and try to. There's something with the way I guess their body structure is, or how they're coming at you, how either whether they're posturing, they must be in a bad mood, or however the case may be, and just kind of capitalize on that. And just if I see a tattoo, I learned this from one of my mentors, Dean Marchese. If they have a tattoo, it's like great ink, nice ink, and be genuine about it, and say, my question to them is the icebreaker is there's got to be a story behind. Sorry, there's got to be a story. Uh, um, hello. Coming back to you live. Here we go. Okay. Okay. So there's got to be. I always say that there's got to be a story behind that specific tattoo because
Mm-hmm.
and believe it, a lot of people will respond like, "Holy crap, you actually care or you noticed or whatever," and I do it genuinely. Um, and I capitalize on it. The lady with the lamps, remember that? When
Mm-hmm.
she started saying it belonged to her mom and stuff. Oh my gosh! All of a sudden, it's like it was so sentimental to her. It meant a lot to her, and to have somebody just ask a question, it's like tell me the story behind those lamps. And look what happened. It just this like aura of light came over her, and it was
Hmm.
like, so that's what I try to do. I don't do it. I don't know. It's just, to me, it just comes natural. It's a skill that you can learn. It's like the body language thing. I'm becoming more conscious about that kind of stuff. And but yeah, that's just me, man. I always want to approach somebody like I would want to be approached, or how I want people to listen to me, or to that effect. I always practice. What do I call that? The making a difference thing, or
Hmm.
or remember I was talking to you yesterday about creating legacy, right?
Hmm.
How you create a legacy? You create a legacy by everything that you do, whether a service or touching a product or anything, is part of you. Your soul and you invested time in that. So, and you really want them to walk away and says, "Man, some dude just asked me about this, and that was awesome."
Hmm.
Um, you know, that's just me. And I appreciate that you notice that, and there's people around me that notice that. I always show up at ball games with my son, even at band things that we were doing with both kids, and I always shook everybody's hand. I always took time to say hi. Sometimes it was too long, with my family, but at the end of the day, they saw me as that person.
Right.
And
Right.
uh, but yeah, it's that's my thing.
Well,
Um,
and I totally agree with you. And I was having a conversation with Vicky Lynn like a week ago about this as well, is having ownership in what you do. You touched on, our legacy, and what we touch, we put a part of ourselves into. At the same time, though, man, there's so many people, and I've been there, and I feel that you've been there as well, is that you've been in a situation, whether it's a job or an organization or whatever, where you have no ownership. You don't have that input, and it's hard for me, and I'll only speak for myself. It's hard for me to be that authentic person when I'm in an environment or an organization or a job, or a relationship with a friend or a colleague or whatever, where I'm not being authentic, you know.
and how do you
And
and how do you you have to learn to adapt and overcome at those situations. It
yeah,
truly is. That is work.
it is. Well, and you have to be, and here's where your honesty with yourself comes in, is that you have to be honest with yourself, and you have to kind of take um, inventory of your situation. Say, okay, why do I feel like crap? Why am I not okay? Why am I not myself in this
Right.
situation? And be honest with yourself and say, okay, is it me? Is it them? Is it the organization? Is it the program? What's going on? Take that inventory and be able to, like you said, then figure it out.
Right. And
We've all been there.
having friends and acquaintances, mentors and things of that sort, like you have an abundance of mentors in your past that have gotten you to where you are today. To have that and debrief with them, I think it's important to debrief. I debrief a lot of, and I unload a lot of crap on Regina, my wife. Her and I are in constant touch, and it almost seems like it's a lopsided thing, but it's like, I need to get these thoughts and things out of my head. Sure, I can write, but honestly, it's like I'd rather have the input back right away. And I think she's very smart, and I think I actually look up to Regina in a lot of ways. And it's like, I need your input. What do you think? We may disagree or agree, or whatever the case may be,
Right.
but at the end of the day, it gets that out of me, and then it gives me time to process. When you talk out loud, sometimes, right, you get the answers, and it's always about we're always talking about business, customer loyalty. Well, how can you go from customer loyalty? I don't want the loyalty. I want the raving client, the raving review client, the one that's going to say, the one that can't stop talking about a product or service that you provide, things of that sort. And how do you do that?
You want
You
them
have
to
to figure
drink
out.
the Kool-Aid.
Absolutely. You have to have them see your vision,
Hmm.
and how do you do that? Is by being sincere, being humble. I think that's one of the things that I've always instilled, grew up with that, and always try that with my kids. And I've said this in previous videos. Always practice humility, no matter what. Even if you may know more than this guy or that person, be humble, man. Don't, I never practice the I's. It's always the we and then the us in the team environment, Take the
Now, let me ask
hits.
you on that. Let me ask you on that because I'm 100% with you on that. Humility is very big in my life. Let me ask you on that though. Is at what point do you go from being humble to being self-depriving?
When
Because when do you go from humble to lacking confidence?
lacking confidence, uh, that is a good question. I have run into that, as a matter of fact, recently, where I come in humble and all that, and his client's beating me up, and hold the I know more than you, and he did, and that's like, man, I felt so uncomfortable. The armpits sweating, the man boob
Right.
perspiring. My man boobs are perspiring hard. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot to put deodorant there. That kind of deal. Um, and I was like, I stopped him. I said, and I was sincere and honest with him. I was like, you know what, this conversation is not going anywhere. I do apologize if I stepped on any toes. This is beyond my realm of knowledge. But tell you what, let me why don't you send me an email, kind of threw back on them, throw me an email of what you want discussed, and we can re-adjourn some other time, and I'll be educated then. And I think they were taken back. And the guy says, you know what, in the email, he says, I appreciate you taking accountability for not knowing what I was trying to explain to you. Because he was getting frustrated, because I was like, and the thing that irks me the most, Dale, and you were talking about this at the beginning, is script. People that are on scripts. That freaking kills me. There's a time and a place for it. Yes, I completely agree. But man, people that walk into an office and it's like script, 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 script. Some people just want to bullshit with you. Some people just want to, ask them about their day, ask them about their kids. I think the common ground is key. I think that's the one gift I've always um, walk into any place is find a common ground. You and I obviously have kids. We're both married. We have animals. We're dogs. Veterinarian thing background. Michelle Miller. I'm just throwing names out that we both know. We connect. She's into photography. She loves landscape or seascapes and things of that sort. I'm into all that. Mark Savanis is another guy that him and I would even connect.
Right.
And we do. We have, he's, you can't blame the guy. He's on the wrong side of the world with the Philly Eagles and not the Dallas Cowboys. But, you still got to love a brother. You know what I mean? He's into football, so am I, whatever. So, but, at the end of the day, you got to give Mark a hug and say, it's okay, brother. There is room on our train if you want to come. But,
Yeah, but who's in the playoffs?
yeah, I know. It's okay, though. It's a
Just,
rebuilding. No
just,
worries.
just saying. Just throwing that on the table.
You
Uh,
did.
and then we're just gonna. So here's, and you're absolutely right. Is humility and confidence can be together, and that's something that I've struggled with. Is my confidence being, I've got an issue with braggarts, and I've talked about this a lot. Bragging is an issue, but you need to be confident in what you're doing, and it's so interesting being introspective and saying, okay, what are the things that I'm confident about, and what are the things that I just suck ass at? And when I'm taking stock in that, I'm like, oh, okay, well, the things that I can stand up without even thinking about, and I can step up and talk about it with confidence, there you go. But at the same time, though, is that it's okay to be humble enough and confident enough in yourself to say, I'm wrong. I'm wrong.
Yep. Yep.
Whether it's your spouse, whether it's your client, whether it's your boss, whomever, it doesn't matter. It's okay to say I'm wrong. Now with me, you better prove it that I'm wrong. And if
Right.
I'm proven wrong, then fair enough. But at the same time though, I think what you're touching on a lot is conversational skills. It's not a sales skill, it's a conversational skill. It's a getting in touch skill. It's being able to be, and Michelle wrote it down a second ago, empathy. You got to be careful with empathy versus
Yeah.
sympathy, but yes,
Yeah.
you need to be able to sympathize
Let the
Blah.
Mexican help you sympathize.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're
Andale,
welcome.
andale.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah,
Gracias.
yeah, yeah. Then not that. So with all that said, is I'm kind of, dude, and I might be wrong. Help me out here because you are in the trenches every day. You are out there doing the sales thing and the relationship. You know, you're building lots of micro relationships in your business. Is it a sales technique issue or is it a lack of conversation skills and connection skills?
With you
No, in general,
in
in the
general.
sales environment, in the business environment.
Um, I think it's lack of conversation skills. You know, because the former company I used to work for many years, we had training sessions and we did the role play. And we kept doing that. And before I would walk into an office, I would call one of my coworkers and say, "Hey, I role play. I'm walking in this building, blah blah." And then it's like, okay, no, you can't think that because you take 2 seconds way too long, it's done. So you got to keep rolling. And conversation, I think. Sales stuff you can learn. You can study, you can read books and things of that sort. But it's really kind of like going off the cuff. Comedians do that all the time.
Mhm.
Improvisation, I think, is key to my job. Is you got to improvise all the time. And there goes my earpiece. Um,
Can't
I
take you
have, I
anywhere.
have, yeah. I'm running into that kind of friction almost every day in my business with management where they're going on script, and it's like, no, dude, you can't ask for the world the first day you meet somebody. You gotta finesse, you gotta talk to them and really conversate. Don't tell them what to do. You just the conversation.
It's
um
a long game versus short game.
yeah.
It's a long game versus short game, and
And I
you're
hope that answers your question as far as conversation skills versus sales skills and the other
no,
one that
you
you had
never answer
mentioned.
my question. You usually
That
go
is
off
true.
and do your own thing anyway.
I
So
agree. You're right.
pain in the but back in the day, man, when I really first started getting into true sales, was when I was doing cell phones. And that's a cutthroat. I mean, that's a salesy business, especially back in the day. And that's one of the things that I learned was the short game versus long game. And I used to have there's a telephone, as ironic as it may be, we sold cell phones and this dude kept coming in to sell us an office phone system, right? And we just kept it turned into this ongoing. He'd drop in about every 2 weeks. We were on his route, and he'd drop in every 2 weeks, and he'd try to sell us a telephone networking system. And he'd try, dude, there's three of us in our office, and he's trying to sell us the system for like 100 people. And he was a hardcore salesperson. I mean, he was the lick and stick, throw them on the wall. If they stick, great. If not, move down the road.
Oh wow.
And
Yeah.
the thing that he and I had a lot of debates over was my thing is long-term relationships with my clients.
Hmm.
I don't, because you sell yourself first. You're
Hmm.
selling lawn. You're not selling equipment. You're selling lawn first by utilizing the equipment to get in the door. I mean, that's the reality of the relational sales. And I used to sit down with him all the time. I'm like, dude, I don't care if someone buys from me today, but
Hmm.
guess what? When they're ready to convert their entire family over, guess what? I'm not going to get one sale. I'm going to get 5 sales. And or this business, they're not ready to do it. But guess what? I'm going to analyze their account. I'm going to talk them through it. And maybe in 6 months, I'll get 50 accounts,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
But his opinion was that I don't give a shit. If you're not buying from me today, I'm moving on. So there was no relationship building there. The other thing
You
also,
see that a lot in my business too. Is that
right? It's still relevant. It still
check
happens.
and really think about this, Dale. And I don't mean to interrupt, but think
No,
about
you
this.
do.
Yes, that is true. You have inside salespeople, and what do? They wait for the public to come to them. So they really don't give a crap. They're like, yeah, whatever. You're going to need me more than I need you because you're
Right.
coming to me. And the outside sales gig, we're going to the clients. So
Right.
therefore, it's a completely different game. And
Right.
recently I had a salesman of like 40 years for a flooring company said, Juan, How is it that you can go to offices and create business? I don't understand that. And I was so honest with you. I was like, well, I don't think you're ever going to understand if you're in the business this long and you're in inside sales. A lot of inside sales guys try to go outside and they don't make it.
It doesn't work.
Doesn't work. It
Right.
just doesn't, And then of course, what do we try to do? I try to create a personal signature to everything I do. I haven't really found the one that really truly works all the time, but I always try to leave something about me so that they can think, or if they remember, hey, it's Juan.
Right.
Always try to. And I'll give you a real quick example. Many years ago, I stopped into this drywall contractor, humongous company, out of state, out of Ohio, and next thing you know, out of Cleveland, I kept in. I got shut down. So I said, you know what? I'm going to try this different. Every 2 weeks, I would drop off bagels, and I would do a peel and stick business card on my thing, and I would put 3 or 4 at a time because I remember competitors of mine peeling it off and then putting theirs on, right? So I kept doing this every 2 weeks. I said, no, I'm not here for anything else. I'm just dropping these off. I'm just dropping it. And every 2 weeks, this is be a rotation, right?
Mm-hmm.
And after about 2.5, 3 months of doing this, I was on vacation and I didn't get to stop in on that rotation. And then that following week, I was sick or something happened. So they called me. They're like, hey, I'm like, wow, you're calling me. What's up? They're like, well, we just wanted to make sure you were still working for this company and wondering where you've been because we've missed you the last couple of rotations because you tend to just come in. I said, oh, I'm sorry. I'm like with an attitude like, well, I'm sorry. If that's the only thing I'm good for, right? They're like, no, it's because we actually want to start renting from you. So that was the whole thing. I'm like, holy crap, this really does work. If anything else, just stop in, drop it off. That was my signature. Here you go, here you go, here you go.
Toma, top of mind awareness. That's what you had
Yep.
created. You were in
right.
front of them. You kept touching. You kept making those touches and
Right.
touching and touching and touching. Not in that way, but you kept making positive impressions.
Content.
Right.
Out of sight, out of mind. It really does work.
Yep.
And that holds true like with your friends, with your acquaintances that you may know, your community, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your kids, out of sight, out of mind. And it's like I always try to transition business stuff with home to kind of commingle because a lot of the stuff can transition to your personal life.
Absolutely.
And if you could do that, then man, that to me has helped out tremendously. And back to what you were saying about selling this camera equipment or cell phones. That's how I got my start in sales was working for Ritz Camera when I came out here. 1990. I didn't know lickety split of cameras, nothing. But I created a job through the interview, and the guy gave me an opportunity. And man, I used to take home and just take thousands of pictures with these cameras, and that was the next thing since sliced bread. That was perfect.
Yeah.
And I became a real good sales guy that way. I'm like, oh man, this is cool. But listening to people, man, I think I'm learning that and still learning that. And Regina can put her 2 cents in that. I am still learning how to listen. And I think with you and I, man, we connect on a different level as well, but I hope that helps.
Because we look so much alike.
Well, yeah. So, and I do hope, and like, again, like I always say, somebody brought this to my attention. If you say, I don't want to fail today, you're subconsciously telling yourself you're going to fail. Because that's the last word you heard in that sentence, right? And I didn't realize that. So, man, I was like I said, management issues, whatever. I'm like, man, this is crap. And then next thing you know, somebody said that. And I'm like, so I changed my mode in the next 2 weeks. And my sales went like this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's who you associate yourself with as well. I think that's important as well.
Absolutely.
Because it does trickle over. It does, it just bleeds into your everyday life. And I think Mark Savanis has spoken about stuff like that too.
Well, what is the saying? You are the sum of your closest 5 friends.
Yeah.
And I think, or the closest people, people that you spend the most
time with. Yeah.
It's the truth. Is if you're around these people, then you are going to start to act like them or have their attitudes, and that works both positively and negatively. Period.
Let me tell you, man. If anybody here in Maryland and out of my circle of friends or acquaintances, nobody has seen me at my worst. Because I used to have like no fuse at all temper. You know, it was like 0 to 100, like seriously quick, right? Moved out here and I completely changed my life around. And it was like, yeah, I had a short fuse, but it was longer short fuse and things of that sort. Now it's like, you know what? I really pick and choose my battles. I still get aggravated or upset or angst, but it's not like it used to be, you know?
Right.
And I'm learning that it's okay to say, I don't know. It's
Mm-hmm.
okay that you're wrong, you know, and it's okay to take the hit, you know, like in sales. I've learned to take a hit, even though my mechanics or my shop or my operations messed up. Who's the forefront person that the client sees? It's you, right? So I'm like, and a lot of clients know that it wasn't you, but they respect the fact that you're willing to take the hit. And they say, you know
Mm-hmm.
what? That tells you a lot about your character. And I don't air out dirty laundry. You know,
Yep.
I could
Yep.
be blasting at my old employers, but you know what? Why? There's no
Yeah.
need for it.
It's not going to do any good. And I learned that lesson the hard way in the cell phone industry as well, man. The first outfit I worked for, little tiny shop. Like I said, there's 3 or 4 of us is all there was. And the owner was not great at ordering the phones on time. So if we had a special order, he wasn't phenomenal at ordering them on time. So what would happen is I would say, okay, we're ordering them tomorrow. It takes us 5 days to get them in. Come in next Wednesday. I'll have it here. We'll get it put together and blah, 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 blah. And they'd come in the next Wednesday. I would roll in the back. There's no phone.
Oh,
Well,
man.
folks have paid $300, $400, or $500 for this phone, and there's no phone. And I'm like, oh crap. So when I first started, it was easy to say, well, the schmuck in the back or this guy, the job, blah, 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 it's his fault, blah, blah, blah. And I slowly realized that people weren't, then they lost respect for me. And as soon as I turned that around, like you just said, is that I'm like, oh, hey, I apologize. I might have wrote
Right.
the date down. I might have screwed this up. Let me check on it. Let me get it done. Let me take care of this for you. Come back in 2 days, right? And then I'd go back in the back and just ream my boss a new one and say,
I know
listen,
exactly.
kind of a deal. But when they came back in, I'd be very apologetic. Hey, man, I'm so sorry. I know that this is a time issue, blah, blah, blah. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. And they're like, it's good. You took care of it. Yes, we're frustrated, but you're taking care of it and it's good. And guess what? They kept buying phones from me and kept buying
Yeah.
phones from me. And as soon as I learned that lesson to take responsibility for oopses and oh shits, then my business changed significantly. It really did.
And and you know, when you were saying that, the communication, it goes back to communication with your
Mm-hmm.
clients. If you
Mm-hmm.
keep them abreast of what's going on, keep them in the loop. Oh my gosh, man, because that happened to me a couple of weeks ago too, where machine was getting late to get delivered. Their foreman was calling my guy, and my guy was calling me, and it was just a circle, right? And then all of a sudden, the PM or the guy on site was calling their PM in the office, backdooring him, and I'm like, oh crap. So, and I apologize, and but the second time around, I kept him in the loop, and he says, man, that is now I have an answer if they call as to what's
Mm-hmm.
going on. Now I'm in the loop. And they respect that. You know, I think I don't know what her name is that you grew up with, the lady you stayed with when you were young. You stayed in a garage or
Oh,
somewhere.
Vicky.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, she had such great uh, topics. She had great
Yes.
knowledge of what's going on, and I'm sure she can agree with you on that, or with me on that. That you got to communicate with your clients.
Yeah.
If you keep that door
Absolutely.
open, you know, back to what I do. Try that. I would suggest somebody try that. Just go to the mall, sit down, just observe. Go to the amusement park, sit down and observe people, and you know, just randomly pick a person. They may look like they're having a bad day, or they're happy, or you see something, a tattoo or whatever, and just say hi to them and say, "Hey, I got a question for you." Just kind of like, bah! You know.
Right.
and just go from there. And that, not only that, that gets me out of my comfort zone, and it teaches me that I can approach anybody. I think that's why I do so well in EMS. Doing the ambulance thing. I didn't say ambulance. I said ambulance. Boy, that killed me. Um, is because I have seconds to connect with somebody.
Right.
And if I do, man, I'm done. As a matter of fact, somebody said, Chris Koch, he commented on, hey, it's a fact about me, right? Him and I had been on plenty of motor vehicle accidents, and typically, if there were babies involved or kids, I always got thrown that at them. It's like, why take care of the kids? Like, why me? Because you're good with kids. I'm like, no, okay, just fine. Quit picking on me because I know I'm a kid. That kind of
Yeah.
deal. But I would connect with them, and it would be like that. If you can connect like that with your kids, I mean, look how, I love them. And they're like, they're crazy, funny and stuff. But
They're okay. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's a genetic thing. But I anyway. But I hope that helps out, man. I hope that whole communication, man, is just do it.
Connecting with people, and here's what's crazy is, when I'm Ubering, I have anywhere from, 5, 10 to 30 people in my car any given day. And it's so interesting. It's such a great petri dish to just figure out things and work on things. And I'm still trying to figure out why I have such a hard time connecting with some people. There are some people who get my car, they just do not want to respond. They just want to sit there, play on their phone, and not say 3 words. And I don't let it bother me, but I do get a kick out of it, because I'm like, okay, fair enough, because it's all about respecting other people.
Right.
I'm not going to force you to talk to me. I'm not going to sit there and just run my mouth. If you want quiet, I'll let you have quiet. But one time, picked up a couple gals, and I'm driving along, and I'm using my icebreaker. Hey, how you doing? What you got planned for the night? Just the chit chatty stuff. And they're like, oh, nothing much. Oh, we're fine.
Don't you hate that? You're like, dude.
Oh, we're going here. I'm like, okay, fair enough. You don't want to talk. You're giving me 1-2 word answers. Fair enough. I just turned up the radio just a touch. I'm like, all right, cool. We'll just chill. The only negative response I've ever gotten in the 3 years I've been Ubering, the only negative response was from these gals. You can work on your conversational skills.
Next time you like, do the one word thing. Hey, pause.
Hey.
Can I? Just do ask you, and just drive a little bit.
Right.
There is a book, and I'll send you a link. It is escaping me. It's The Truths Behind Service or something like that. And it's in there. The guy, it's the Johnny the Bagger story. Have you heard that? That book is based on Johnny the Bagger story. It's about this kid that had Down syndrome, worked as a bagger at a grocery store, and he went to some seminar. He says, how can I be unique? How can I put my signature on customers? So then he after learning this, he said that he went home, put a thought of the day, had his dad do this on his computer 50 times, cut out slips, and every time somebody would buy it, he'd bag the groceries, he would put the thought of the day in there. And the next thing you know, the lines were enormous, only in Johnny's line, because these people wanted to hear his thought of the day. See what I'm saying?
I love it.
So there's a taxi driver that was he did his mission statement, and maybe that's something you need to try, something different. He had a mission statement, try to get here, there, and there safely, blah blah blah, so on and so forth. Then he asked what they wanted, soft drinks, coffee, whatever, and then reading material, or here's a list of playlists, radio playlists, things of that sort. It's completely signature. Maybe you might want to try something like that. That's good. I'll send you the link of that, the name of that book.
Yeah, drop it in the comments below.
I will. Yeah, it's a great read. I listen on audio. That's where I'm getting a lot of my stuff. Stop complaining, man. Just because if you start complaining at the beginning of the day, when I roll out of bed and I walk out of the house, my day is going to go crap the whole day, and it's hard to recover, right? Especially if you have one bad scenario, one bad client, one bad connection, your day is done, man. You're in a dump. That's why, people like you're there. I call, I vent on you, and blah blah blah, and whatever, and it just gets me through the day. I think you and I had that conversation yesterday, man. I really do
Hmm.
appreciate it. I was like, hey, I needed your call, man. No worries, dude.
Yep. Yep.
Sometimes I do that with Michelle. I call Michelle out of the blue. I hadn't talked to her in a long time. It's like, Michelle, 2Ls, what's up? You got a script that we could talk about today? That kind of deal, right? But at the end of the day, you always need that one person,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily have to. I beat up on my wife too much with all my day to day stuff. Sometimes it's okay to go off script and
Right.
go
Yeah.
talk to somebody else. But
So
I hope
do
that helps out,
everybody
man.
do me a favor, everybody. If you feel comfortable, tag whoever that person is in the comments. So if you have that person that like Juan and I have two or three other people. If I'm having a crap day and I need to smile and laugh, then I give them a call. So if you feel comfortable doing it, tag them in the comments, and so then
Yeah.
that way we can love on them a little bit. Because
I'm willing to. Dude. I'm like so excited with some of the people that you've known, like Summer.
yeah,
Sometimes I want to. She's awesome, right? Some of the stuff that she does on Facebook with her family, crazy, right? She would be one person that I can connect with right away. It's just because we have a
hmm
lot in common. Not only that she LDS, I am too, and things of that sort, but just stuff in common, man. It's just like holy crap. I'm not the only one that does quirky stuff like that. You know what I
right,
mean?
right.
But yeah, man, tag there. Please reach out to me. I saw a couple of people from Chi-Town. They were like, hey, how do I do on this link, or how do I know about this, what we're doing?
Right.
Steve Donis and things of that sort reaching out. Um, but yeah, man, let's do it, dude. I'm getting ready to get back to the fat boy status over there. The what do you call it? The throwback flick stuff. I'm really looking forward to doing something like that again.
Well, and we're working on it, man. It's going to take us a little while, but we're getting there. I'm starting to put the parts and pieces of that back together, and it's going to be so much fun. So
Dude,
much
and,
fun.
and and then next time you're in town, maybe we should do a dry run of that. You
There
can
you
just
go.
get Rick involved, man. Get Rick Smith involved.
As long as we have Tim in the back seat.
Oh,
We're only going to do it if
hey,
Tim's in the back seat.
dude, that was so hilarious. Just him popping up his head, just say, "I think this." I'm like, "Oh shit, we forgot he was there." I'm like, "My bad, Tim."
That's because you're a jerk face one, and you forget about it.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Just
But
saying. I
man,
mean, I
man,
love
keep
you,
doing. Hey,
but you know.
I love you too, brother. Hey, you know what, man? Keep doing what you're doing, man. You're doing really good things. You're doing fantastic things. I learn stuff, things to do and things not to do from you, and I really do appreciate that on both spectrums. Uh, and man, just you are somebody, man. This whole thing about the body language, that's phenomenal. It is freaking phenomenal, man. It's like you are going to make big things out of this, dude. You're going places, and you know what? And honestly, I'm right at the ground with you. You're going to grow, and I'm right behind you.
Well, we're going to
Uh,
do this together, and I had an epiphany about myself this morning, and then we gotta wrap this up. But
yes, yes, yes.
so this is easy for me. Doing this kind of stuff is easy for me, and so I've been trying to figure out why doing my body language episodes or videos has been difficult for me, and yet this is easy. This comes naturally. This flows for me, but that's a struggle for me. And I think I had my epiphany as to why this morning is that this right here is not about me. Even though
Mm,
people are saying, Dale, you're doing it, Dale, you. No, it's not me. This is not about me. This is about you. At this moment, this is about Juan Cortez.
right.
Next week, it's about Rhonda Boyle. Last week, it was about Vicky. This isn't about me. Yeah, I'm throwing my stuff in there too, but this isn't about me. But when I'm in front of the camera and I'm talking the body language, that's 100% me. And that's what I'm struggling with
You got to
is
get over that, man. You got
I
to.
do, and
It's
I haven't
right.
figured out how yet.
Yeah. And let me tell you one more thing, and then we'll let you go. Is remember I said a couple of weeks ago, I said, why would you want to interview me, bro? Why? I am not at the caliber of those other people like the Vickies, the Summers, and the Johns, and all that. But I do appreciate. No, no, seriously, I do appreciate you and everybody that listens and everybody that comments and the great following that I have because honestly, it's a humbling experience,
Mm-hmm.
man. That there are people out there that actually do like me for me. You know what I mean? And I appreciate that you actually, yeah, just a little bit, just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
A little bit. You can take that time. Anyway, so
Please
I do
stop.
appreciate that. I do appreciate whoever's out there listening, and that chimes in, and I thank you for giving me the opportunity to be on. Let's do it
Absolutely,
again.
man.
Whenever you
Absolutely.
need, whenever you need it, man, let me know and we'll do it again.
Because here's
And
the
I hope
thing,
I
man.
helped out. I do help. I hope somebody got something out of it, man. I don't know.
Well, if nothing else, your beautiful face.
Well,
So
thank you.
here's the thing, man, is the more I do this and the more I'm evaluating my friendships and my mentors and the people who influenced me, the more I'm looking at everybody that I know, I'm like, holy crap, they are doing these things. Or holy crap, they've done this for me. Or they're doing these things for these people. Dude, we all are making an impact. Some people bigger than others,
Right.
but that's all in perception. That's subjective.
That is
Fat
subjective.
big
And
fat finger in the camera.
yeah, sorry about that. Yeah.
No, you're not. And so that's why I have zero issues with throwing anybody in this. If you're willing to do it, we're going to do it. And I was talking about this with Vicky as well, is that it's crazy to me, because to me, and this is a self-defeating thought, and I understand that, but at the same time, is I'm nobody. I'm just using a talent that I've developed over time, which is baffling people with my bullshit and just talking and bragging on people, and yet people are looking now at me and they're like, oh well, I don't think I'm good enough. The hell are you talking about? You're not good enough. You're amazing, you know.
Yeah.
So all right, well, you're getting
You
cold.
are, man. You are amazing. You are amazing.
Well, okay, thank you. So, all right, let's wrap this
Keep
up.
doing what you're doing,
Everyone,
brother. All right,
thanks
man.
for hanging out with us. Juan, I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate everyone.
Thank you.
Michelle, she's been down there just typing her fingers out, making comments. I
I don't see
appreciate you,
that. I
Michelle.
don't get to see the commentary. I
Yeah,
don't see it,
well,
but I
there's a
will
reason
later.
for that. There's a reason for that.
Yeah.
We usually put you in the corner and tell you, call you baby.
You do. You do. I always end up sitting in the corner somewhere over
Yeah,
there,
usually, because, just saying.
This shit.
But with all that, guys, thank you very much hanging out with us. Next week, I'm super excited for next week. Hey, dude, one of our mutual friends is going to be on next week. I haven't put it out yet. Crystal Saxon is going to be telling us
No.
her story. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So I've got Crystal Saxon on next week. Cancer survivor. She's amazing singer. She just dropped an album. She's getting ready to drop another Christian album this year. And so she's on next week. And then also next
Fantastic,
week, I
man.
have Rhonda Boyle on, who is part of the Gallup Strength Finders coach program. And she's going to be doing the reveal for my Strength Finders
Awesome.
list. And so she's going to be going over that next week. So, dude, thanks, brother. Make sure you put your
Thank
contact
you.
info in the bottom.
Will do. Will
Hang
do.
out with me for just a minute, brother. Everyone else,
All right.
have an awesome day. And like, Juan always says, it's a beautiful day when you wake up.
No.